In basically all of my videos, I talk about my great dislike for things such as mindsets, identity, labels, inner monologues, and concepts in general. And I want to a little bit summarize all of my videos in this one. So, why do I not believe in concepts? Fundamentally, I have observed that the more concepts you have in front of you, the less clearly you see reality. The more narrative, ego, identity, mindset, and all this kind of stuff you have, the less you see the reality that is in front of you. And bad things happen when you do not see reality clearly. Let's take a very obvious example. Let's say you're trying to land a plane and you have no instruments because the instruments were removed or rather hijacked by the mindset part, and your vision is blurry because there's fog, so you don't see anything. So how are you going to land a plane when you don't see anything and the instruments just show random things that you want to see or like to see? Well, you can't, so you crash. And this is how most people live their life. They just get stuck in their head, stuck in their own little worlds, in their own narratives. So they don't see reality clearly anymore. And then their judgment gets worse. And when their judgment gets worse, well, then that's when everything just goes downhill. And the same applies to like identity, labels, inner narratives, and all this kind of stuff as well. Like, just because you had a bad math teacher in high school does not mean that you are not a math person and that you never should do anything with math ever again. Like, sometimes something bad will happen. People will put all this narrative around it, and that will prevent them from getting to the next level. That will prevent them from doing the work that is required to ascend, to progress. And that's when they get stuck. So not only did the concepts as a whole cloud their judgments, but their narratives formulated their identity. And when that happened, they stopped seeing the possibilities that are in front of them and convinced themselves that they shouldn't do the things that they clearly know they should be doing. And so, in other words, all this kind of identity stuff is all cope. There's only doing what is required and not doing what is required. It's just that identity confuses all those things, and so you get stuck. And why? Well, because your ego wants to have an identity. Your ego doesn't want to be free. It wants to be contained. It wants to have a shape, a narrative. And so that means the people who stress their identity and their labels and their inner monologue so much value their thoughts, and which may or may not have anything to do with reality, above actually progressing and reaching their goals. And this is a shit priority to have if your goal is satisfaction and progress and happiness and enlightenment. This is just a shit goal to have. It's just better to focus on your goal. And now, why do I not believe in mindsets? Well, it takes a lot more nuance, but basically, mindsets only exist in short form videos. Once you get into the real world, you will see that the narratives, which is a mindset is a sort of narrative, instantly collapses, or rather, that it doesn't provide much useful information except for maybe 3 sentences. But for these 3 sentences, you don't actually need to read a whole book or to watch all these kind of videos. Like, let's take the fixed versus growth mindset, which is basically the first mindset that existed. So the growth mindset says that you can improve basically anything. With enough time and effort, you can improve everything. This is kind of what I've just mentioned with the I'm not a math person example, because this mindset tells you Well, just because you tell yourself you aren't enough, but doesn't mean you can't improve. So improve. But what you'll quickly realize once you leave this self-improvement YouTube Shorts kind of bubble is that most things are not worth improving. Most of the time it's just better to be good at one or maybe two things than just to try to improve everything that you're bad at. And this itself is a massive simplification. But fundamentally, how can I express all the nuance that you will learn in a 5-minute video? So just trust me with this one. Once you get into the real world, or at least touch the real world, you will see that basically all mindsets fall apart. Because just as the identities and the labels, they are themselves concepts. And the more concepts you have in front of you, the less clearly you see reality. Of course, some concepts are good because they poke holes in the wall that is in front of you that you've constructed with your thoughts and your head and your ego. But most concepts are not like that. They just add another layer. And so you don't see reality clearly anymore. And so, what do I recommend instead? I recommend instead to just do the things that you're required to do and then to chill for the rest of the day. This is what I recommend. There is no need for all this thoughts, all this narrative, all this ego. It's just better to do and then to chill. This is what I recommend. And so, my name is Kevin. My goal is to inspire 10,000 good decisions. If this is your helpful, subscribe and we'll see you in the next one.